Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our herbal hour, and I'm happy to be here. So we're trucking right along. I was hoping that this class was going to just be a one-night class, but I don't think so. I added a lot of information to it, as usual, and so you're going to learn a lot. So it'll probably be this class tonight and then the next class as well. Okay. And so we'll plan on two classes. Good evening, Resume. Hi, Sherry. All right. So let me share my screen so we can move forwards here on this. Okay, the action of herbs. There's a lot of actions, and I didn't know. I didn't know so many actions, but you're going to learn some probably maybe you don't know tonight, and we'll see. Hi.
Hello.
Go ahead. Hi, nice to see you, Yolanda. Okay, so thank you all for being here. I appreciate that you're here. And, on this beautiful Wednesday night, we're going to have another class in 2 weeks. I've got the date. And then I'm planning on 2 every month. So we'll be doing 2 in November, 2 in December. I guess it's going to kind of just depend on how crazy it gets. We're going into holidays, right? So, sometimes November and Decembers are kind of crazy. So we may end up just doing 1 in November, 1 in December, and then hit the ball rolling again in January so I can get through everything. And this is basically replacing the Herbal Counselor course that I had done before. I'm updating it and all that. So, it helps everybody to learn. So let me go over my disclaimer that I always go through here. Joyful Living Services cannot be held liable for any misuse or malpractice of any techniques taught within this herbal class, nor for any injury, suffering, or distress caused by students undertaking the techniques discussed. All students must accept that they are wholly responsible for their actions relating to the practice of herbs and must adhere to the relevant laws in their country and state of residence. Students are responsible for ensuring that they have appropriate insurance for practicing in their country and state of residence. Joyful Living Services cannot be held responsible for any advice given by students to members of the public. Students must adhere to their local laws regarding the requirement for registration and or qualification as an herbalist before suggesting supplements or offering nutritional advice. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you. All right. Thank you for filling that out. Okay, so though herbalism has its roots in many different times and peoples, such as traditional Chinese medicine in China and Ayurveda from India, modern herbalism has its roots in England with a man named Nicholas Culpeper. He was a physician and astrologer. He translated many texts from Latin to English and influenced the rise of modern American and European herbalism as we know it today, with his book from 1652 entitled The Complete Herbal and English Physician. So what is an herbal action? Well, I'm just going to go through this for you. And basically, it's how an herb works. Is what it comes down to. Herbalism is a dialogue of an ancient relationship between people and plants, and in our modern world, understanding the language of herbalism is essential, not only learning to create effective herbal formulations, but also to blur the line between tradition and modern science. Modern medicine has left many of our medicinal plant allies behind, and it's in blurring this line that we're better able to bring our ancient plant allies almost more effectively into today's world as food. Herbal actions are an essential part of this language. So an herbal action is a word used to describe a specific medicinal property or quality of a plant. Many plants have several herbal actions that work in synergy. For example, anti-inflammatory is an herbal action, and a plant can be both anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and may also work to support heart health. So there are many actions of herbs. So Why is it so important for you to know what an herbal action is and how it affects you? And learning about it, it's much more than just building a bridge between people and plants. Okay, without knowledge of herbal actions, it's very difficult to formulate herbal blends for therapeutic purposes. And I know there are several of you in this class that are interested in formulating, herbal blends. Okay, so it's basically like picking out a bottle of wine based solely on how much you like the look of the label, right? Unless you learn, you're not going to be able to do it. So depending on the herb, some can cause serious side effects if they're misused. Some herbs are safer and more appropriate for everyday use, while others are not. It's so incredibly important to know the difference. So knowing your herbal actions helps you dive deeper and more confidently into herbalism, whether you're formulating therapeutic herbal teas for cold care or making herbal tinctures to support mental health or a healthy gut. It's taking culinary herbalism into a greater degree of intentional and maybe more targeted healing beyond your well-versed use of common culinary herbs and spices. There's a great big world of incredible plants waiting for you to discover them. And you have to understand that I'm going over some of them, right? I'm not going to be going over all of them or we'd be here for 3 weeks. So let this list of herbal actions help guide you in your practice of herbalism and herbal wellness. And of course, before we get right into all these herbal actions, I think it's important to note that none of the information given here is intended to diagnose or treat any aches, pains, illnesses, or diseases. There are, of course, licensed integrated healthcare practitioners and practicing clinical herbalists that are willing and able to incorporate herbs into their care and treatment plans safely and effectively. This list of herbal actions is simply a tool to empower you with the skills to communicate effectively in the world of herbalism and the confidence in formulating preparations for your everyday herbal wellness. Some of these items have been adapted from David Hoffman's book, The Herbal Handbook, A User's Guide to Medical Herbalism. Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken these different actions of herbs and I've explained them at the top. I've given you some examples and there is a picture of the first herb for each action. And you can see that there are different herbal examples. So for instance, as an adaptogen, there's borage, Siberian ginseng, licorice, Korean ginseng, American ginseng, Arctic rose, schizandra, and ashwagandha. So these are all examples of adaptogens. And basically adaptogens are something that help you adapt. They work when they need to work, and when they're not needed, they don't do anything. So their action improves the body's adaptability, enabling the body to avoid reaching a point of collapse or overstress. And of course, we know in today's world, the way it is, after everybody was locked down with COVID, everybody's back out, people are really stressed out, people losing their jobs, things going on in the world. There's a lot of stress out there. So adaptogens are very, very important right now. Okay, they can have an overall tonifying effect or provide benefit within specific organs, such as circulatory, respiratory, digestive, reproductive, and nervous system. Okay, their core action appears to be in helping the body deal with the physiology of stress. And of course, none of us have stress here, right? None of us, we drive on the freeway, no stress there. We have to pay our bills. We watch, if you watch the news, no stress there. So they seem to increase the threshold of resistance to damage through supporting the adrenal glands and possibly pituitary gland function. And we know that the adrenal glands, they're the glands that take that hit, right? They're your fight or flight glands. They help you get up in the morning. They help you go through the day. They help you move faster and get things done. And if those are hit, then it's harder for you to get things done, do what you need to do. Adaptogens are capable of restoring normal tone and function to the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and the SAS system, and therefore to the entire body. Okay, so very important for stress. While improving resistance to stress, they help to prevent some of the more common symptoms of stress, including poor concentration that I hear about all the time, sleep problems, insomnia. I hear that all the time, fatigue, decreased immune response, and decreased resistance to infections. So you're welcome to use the information that I've provided in this class. If you want to use it, if you have a practice you want to use it, you're more than welcome to use it. And I'll be sending, I'll provide the slides and the recording after the class. It will be available. Okay. Okay. Alternatives. These are herbs that gradually restore the proper function of the body, increase health and vitality. Okay, they alter, I've highlighted and underlined the main parts here so that you can look at that, because there's a lot of words in here. They alter the body's processes of metabolism so that tissues can best deal with a range of functions from nutrition to elimination. They help to improve the body's ability to eliminate waste through the kidneys, the liver, the lungs, the skin. Some stimulate digestion and are antimicrobial. They move the body to a state of health, removing indicators of systemic disintegration. Really important, right? Very, very important. And they should be considered when chronic inflammatory or digestive disease exists. And there is a lot of that in the world now. So lots of things going on with people. Hi, Tara. Nice to see you.
Thanks. I'm so sorry for being late.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. I'm going to say hi to everybody when everybody shows up. So,
okay, thanks.
Okay, let's see. They diuretic and hepatic remedies can also be seen as alternatives and should be considered when chronic inflammatory degenerative disease exists. And they have a particular affinity towards the circulatory, respiratory, digestive, most of the systems, right? Urinary, reproductive, skeletal, nervous, and the skin, the integumentary systems. Skin conditions, arthritis, and autoimmune, they're usually, this is what these are used for. You can see some of these down here. The first picture is of cleavers, and then there's stinging nettle, burdock, yellow dock, blue flag, dandelion, and red clover. So these are really great for all these things. Alternatives. Thank you, Jackie. So just so you all know, Jackie is in my iridology class, and she's been with me for, I don't know how many years now, years. And so whenever I can't pronounce something, I always say, Jackie, help. Jackie comes up. See, so she's used to doing that. Thank you, Jackie. She's used to helping me out. Okay. Analgesic herbs help to relieve pain. And here you have a kava plant right there. So they can work in a variety of ways, but they mostly reduce sensitivity of our nerves to pain. And, you've got somebody in pain and they're going to come and they're going to want something yesterday. They're going to want something last week. They're going to want it to work instantly. And the problem, of course, is that people are so used to medicine that works right away. So a lot of people don't have the patience. With herbs, it takes time. Okay, so this can be used for all kinds of pain, anything associated with headaches, sore muscles, arthritis, back pain, and toothaches. And you see here, I've got kava, marijuana, and valerian. And we do know that medical marijuana is used for all types of pain, anything from migraines to cancer, right? And so people are having really good results with that. Okay, anodynes. These also help relieve and soothe pain, and they also have hypnotic actions. Okay, they work by lessening sensitivity of the brain or the nervous system and causing analgesia. And look, when I found that picture of the poppies, I was thinking of the Wizard of Oz, and how she goes to the poppies, right? And she gets sleepy and she falls asleep. Yeah, right. Okay, so, and besides that, I thought that was a really beautiful picture. So here, examples, we've got California poppy, wild lettuce, Jamaican dogwood, valerian, the deadly nightshade, henbane, thorn apple, and gelsemium. I don't know. I haven't smelled it, so I suppose it's possible. Yeah, I suppose it's possible. Okay. Anthelmintics. I don't say it right, I know Jackie will come to my rescue. They will destroy or expel worms from the digestive system, and they can be toxic in high doses, so we have to be careful. And then, of course, we have the antiparasitics and the vermifuges. So we've got wormwood, garlic, cedar, and black walnut. You know, we still use black walnut all the time. We still use garlic all the time. Wormwood is still in a lot of combos. So it's kind of interesting. But this is what wormwood looks like here. So if you know, I didn't bring any herbs into the class tonight because I don't have any new ones that I had. But next time, let's see, when we hit digestive system, and of course, those of you in Zoom land, I'll have to figure out how to do this with you, because the people here in the class, you know, they'll be able to make the tinctures, we'll be able to do the tinctures and the oils and things like that here. So what I'll probably do for you is just make a suggestion that you can buy the supplies. And then while we're holding the class and we're making something, you can make it with us on your side of the world. The Indians in the areas use wormwood to get rid of negative energy. The smudge. Okay. Okay, anti-catarrhal, you know what catarrh is. It means I flow, you know, anything that's coming out of the body, right? Okay, so anti-catarrhals help the body to remove excess mucus from the body. And for those of us in iridology that have studied with Dr. Jensen, you know, we always heard him talk about never stop a flow, never stop a catarrhal. So, you know, people get a cold and they go to the drugstore and they get all these over-the-counter things to stop their mucus, so that stop their coughs, dry it up so that they can go to work the next day. You know, all that's doing is pushing it further into the body, and that's not a good thing. So we never want to stop a catarrh if we can help it, right? We want to make sure that it comes out, and that's called eye flow, right? Letting it come out. Okay, so anti-catarrhal herbs, they help to remove this mucus from the body. Okay, they're mainly used in ear, nose, and throat infections. They can help eliminate mucus in the sinuses. Okay, isn't that pretty? That's eyebright, isn't that? Yes, that's what eyebright looks like. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, the pictures in here are the first ones that I've got in the examples, because I mean, I just don't have enough room to put all of them. So I try to, you know, put different pictures so you can all see what they look like. So mucus is not in and of itself a problem, right? It has a purpose. The body produces purpose to get rid of foreign bodies and infectious agents. Okay, it's when it's too much, okay, it's produced, then it causes a problem. When too much of it's produced, it's usually in response to infection, as a way of removing in the organism excess carbs from the body. Okay, and so it's really important to help it come out of the body. So herbal examples: eyebright, golden seal, goldenrod, plantain, wild indigo, mahuang, elderberry, and the flowers, and peppermint. Those are some of the herbal examples. Of course, you can add to these, you know. Because you can use honey if it helps to remove the catarrh, if it works. Yeah. But that would no, it's not. Okay, so a lot of these herbs have tannins, and that is the astringent action. Okay, so there are also astringents that help to remove catarrh. Okay, antiemetic. Okay, these help to reduce feelings of nausea and can help to relieve or prevent vomiting. So most of these herbs are carminatives, which settle the digestive process in the stomach. And this is what lemon balm looks like, if you've never grown lemon balm. So lemon balm, chamomile, peppermint, ginger. I mean, we all know ginger, you know, how ginger helps to ease nausea. So I went on a cruise to the Bahamas right after Hurricane Andrew. And it was a cruise that I qualified for with Nature Sunshine. It was actually a convention that they held on the cruise ship. And then, of course, then we got to go off ship and go snorkeling and do all the things you get to do when you do a cruise. The cruise before us, everybody was sicker than a dog. I heard stories of people just vomiting everywhere on the cruise ship because it was right after the hurricane. And so I was really concerned about that. And of course, most people buy Dramamine when they go on a cruise because they don't want to throw up. And so I took a bottle of ginger with me of 100 caps. I took the whole bottle on the cruise. There was nothing left. But you know what? I never got sick. So what was it? I'm trying to remember how long the cruise was. 4 days, 5 days. Do you were around then probably too, right? I don't remember how long the cruise was, but I was taking ginger like it was going out of style because there were still people that were getting sick. But guess what? I didn't get sick. So the only thing that happened to me, of course, is when I got off the cruise ship, when we got to the Bahamas, and then we got in the bus and we're driving around the Bahamas, and then I had to walk. I had my sea legs, so then I was dizzy. So when I came back and I was dizzy and I had my sea legs, I went to the chiropractor and he helped me to so that I was stable again. So if you know anybody going on a cruise, and of course there's going to be, depending on where they go, ginger is really great for that. So, okay. That's my story about that. Antifungals, right? Antifungals, they either completely wipe out or slow the growth of fungus. Okay. And this can help with gastrointestinal candida overgrowth, vaginal yeast infections, athlete's foot, ringworm, and other types of funguses. So cinnamon, garlic, oregano, tea tree, yarrow, depending on the fungus and depending on what's going on, if it's candida, of course, then we have to look at diet and take fruit out for a while, anything that, has vinegar, figure out what's causing it and so on, and use antifungals and candida herbs. Yeast infections, a really great way to get rid of vaginal yeast infections is just a douche. Unless partners are passing it back and forth, just a quarter cup of vinegar to a douche bag usually will wipe out the yeast and change the environment, the vaginal environment. And then that usually, a couple times will usually work. Athlete's foot, tea tree can work really great with that, putting that on the athlete's foot. But I'll tell you something that works really great and doesn't cost anything is vinegar. And I have so many clients do it. You just take a bucket, put some water in there and put vinegar in there. And then they just soak their feet while they're watching television or reading a book, 10 minutes every night. And it changes the environment and it gets rid of the athlete's foot. Ringworm, there's another one. And so there's a couple easy things to do. My husband had yeast on, let's see, he worked at Round Table. And, he did the dough and flipped the pizza dough and all that when he was younger, before he met me. And then when he met me, his fingernail was all deformed from the yeast, right? And that's with wearing gloves, supposedly, and all this. And he tried everything, nothing worked, including tea tree oil. And he even went and had tongue diagnosis, and the guy gave him Chinese herbs, and that didn't work. The herbs, nothing worked. And we went and visited his great aunt one day out in Lodi, and she said, just stick your finger in vinegar. And so he started doing that every night, putting his finger in vinegar, gone. And now his nail is perfectly normal. Just little bit of vinegar. So that worked. Okay. Anti-inflammatories. There's turmeric there in that picture. And these herbs help to control the body, to control inflammation. So, it's kind of interesting. So inflammation is normal and it's a healthy body response to infections and systemic issues. And with inflammation, there's usually swelling, heat, redness, loss of function and pain. But these all serve eliminating purposes and meaningful immune system responses. So over time, the inflammatory reaction will bring about necessary changes to heal and restore health to the area affected. So, of course, with medicine, we're conditioned to react to inflammation as something that should be quickly and completely smothered and taken away. But when we use herbs, when we're using herbs, we're looking at balancing the body. Okay, we're looking at working with the body and balancing it rather than treating it for inflammation. Okay, and so demulcents, emollients, and vulneraries will often act as anti-inflammatory when they're applied externally. Okay, so herbs can reduce inflammation a number of different ways, and herbs will rarely inhibit the natural inflammation process. Instead, they do what they're supposed to do: support and encourage the chemical mediators that are involved. This aids the body with the cleansing work it's already doing, thereby speeding the healing process. So if you haven't heard of Hering's Law of Cure, Hering's Law of Cure is to heal from the head down. It's not on the slides. I'm just coming up with this now. From the head down, inside out, and in reverse order as symptoms have appeared, okay, or been suppressed. So what that means is that you heal from the head down. First, you have to believe you can heal. There's so many people that are diagnosed with a disease, and then they just go with it. And they believe that that is it. My mom is one of them. It's like talking to a brick when I try to talk to her. It's like, well, what about this? Oh, no, the doctor said this. Yeah, but maybe, oh, no, so it's like, okay. All right. So first you have to believe you heal from the head down. You have to believe it's possible first that the body can heal itself. Okay. Then from the inside out, in other words, detoxing, cleansing, cleaning the blood, cleaning the elimination organs, the liver, the gall, all the elimination, the lungs, the kidneys, the bowels, everything, cleaning. Okay, and in reverse order as symptoms have appeared or been suppressed. So that person that went to CVS because they had they had a drippy nose and they were coughing and they have to give that presentation tomorrow, and they bought that over-the-counter suppressant, has now stuffed that mucus and stuffed everything in their body. Well, they're going to have to go back through that. Their body's going to have to get rid of that. Okay, and so that's Hering's Law of Cure. Head down, inside out, and reverse order as symptoms have been suppressed. Okay, so we have to go backwards. We have to go backwards. Okay, so this is a chart here that I made that has the different anti-inflammatory herbs. And you'll note here that aspirin was originally isolated from these plant sources as an anti-inflammatory compound. Okay, salicylates, these are natural chemicals found in a large range of plants. And you can see we've got sulfur, resin, salicylates, steroidal saponins. We've got essential fatty acids, volatile oils, flavonoids, and a word that I cannot pronounce, triterpenoid saponins. Is that how you say it? You wouldn't think that I use Google Translate earlier to tell me how to say all these words. And then I, forget it. I just I have to have my phone right here translating for me at the time, or have Jackie on my elbow over here going, Brenda, that's how you say it. So, yeah, so there's certain things. They're volatile, go in the air. Yep. So that is for you. These are some of the herbs that are anti-inflammatory, and they're under these different categories. Okay, anti-lithic. These herbs help to prevent the formation of stones, in the urinary system, and can help remove those when they are already formed. I don't know if you know anybody with kidney stones, but I do. I don't know if you've produced kidney stones, but I have twice. So gravel root and hydrangea, those are my actual favorites. But So these seem to either work by dissolving, quote unquote, stones, or helping the body to remove those capable of being passed by promoting urine flow, by flushing the kidneys and the bladder. And then, of course, we say that, you know, they can be used as a preventative so as not to create more stones, you know, because we don't want to keep creating them. Of course, figuring out what the cause is the best thing, right? It's always the best to figure out what the cause. Hydrangea and gravel root, yeah. And you know, I was trying to get that in the office for the longest time, and I couldn't get gravel root for a while. It was out, and hydrangea now now you can get it. Antimicrobial. Antimicrobials are herbs that help the body to destroy or resist pathogenic microorganisms. Okay, you can basically, you're helping the body. And with any herbs, herbs are foods. Okay, for foods are herbs. And with any herbs, what we're doing is we're helping the body to heal itself. We're helping the body to eliminate any of these pathogenic microorganisms itself. Okay, we're not doctors, we can't diagnose, we can't prescribe. Okay, and herbs are used as foods. Herbs are used to help balance the body, okay, and to help the body to heal itself. So I've got some information here. Many of these herbs are also anti-inflammatory. They can also be antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antiparasitic. And, you know, something interesting is that echinacea, which as herbalists, we love it, right? We all love it. We know echinacea helps with bacteria, and, you know, we start feeling a scratchy throat usually, and we start taking echinacea, and I take Podarco. I like Podarco. That one works for me. Echinacea, my husband, my daughter use echinacea. They love echinacea. So we know that echinacea has been known to help with bacteria and to help with colds and all of these things. But it's also been found to work against staph, okay, and other antifungal, other fungals, and it also is known to help attack bacteria. Okay, it's also active against viruses by inhibiting an enzyme used by viruses to break down cell walls. There was some information that came out that said echinacea doesn't work. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but it it came out mainstream. Don't use echinacea. Just like don't use vitamin C. Vitamin C doesn't work. Don't use echinacea. It doesn't work. And then all the rest of us are going, but wait a minute. I take it and I feel better. Is it just psychosomatic? I don't think so. You know, okay, so other ways herbs remove infection is by direct or indirect stimulation of the body's own immune system, and those rich in volatile oils are often directly effective by killing microorganisms. So I've got some examples. There's your garlic there on the right? There's garlic, thyme, wild indigo, golden seal, osha, however you say the next one, lomatium, echinacea, and myrrh. Okay, so these are some examples of antimicrobials or herbs that you can use as antimicrobials to help rid the body of microorganisms. And of course, there's more. You know, there's more. These are some examples. Antioxidants. We all know about antioxidants and how important antioxidants are. They help to prevent oxidative stress to our cells that may be caused by environmental factors, poor quality foods, certain medications, smoking, alcohol abuse, or any number of physical, mental, or emotional stressors. Oxidative stress is often the cause of premature aging and many inflammatory diseases. So think of a rusty nail, right? That's always something that people use as an example, or a rusty bumper that's been out in the water, in the rain, right? That's oxidated. So antioxidants help with that. And there's a picture of astragalus. Okay, that's number one there. Ginger, milk thistle, Schizandra, thyme, and turmeric. These all have antioxidant properties. That's astragalus. Asparagus? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's, oh, you guys just say asparagus. Okay. Because I was gonna say it doesn't look like it. Yeah. Yeah, I have asparagus growing in my yard. Okay, so that is astragalus there. Anti-rheumatic. Look at this. Doesn't this look like some joint that's all like bent? You know, doesn't that look like it's all bent? But then it has this beautiful flower, right? And we all know what rheumatism, right? It describes any disease marked by inflammation, pain in the joints, muscles, connective tissues, and specifically, these herbs are those which have action on reducing and or resolving symptoms of musculoskeletal disease. So people are diagnosed with rheumatism, and then they just take the medicine that gets rid of symptoms, and then they just keep going, and they keep going, and then eventually they've got knuckles that are all crooked and bent and swollen, and then they have to have their knuckles replaced, and you know, it's not a good thing. A lot of these herbs are also anti-inflammatories and alteratives. Okay, that they can alter the body's processes of metabolism so that tissues such as muscles and joints can best deal with a range of functions, including basically detoxing, elimination of wastes, right? While modifying inflammation and immune mediators, okay? They're mostly employed in cases of chronic inflammatory or degenerative diseases, such as arthritis, fibromyalgia, to support and encourage cleansing. I saw something, it was yesterday, that somebody posted about autoimmune. And the person was saying, you know, there's no such thing as an autoimmune disease. Person just needs to detox. Just clean up the body. Just clean up the body. Okay. And some identified plant constituents have been shown to have an anti-rheumatic effects, including resins. And however, the overall action of these plants is much more than that, right? It's all about balancing the body and helping the body to do what it needs and eliminating, bringing the inflammation in the joints down and detoxing and building and healing and all that. Okay, so we've got devil's claw, wild yam, turmeric, gotu kola, celery, and arnica. And that is devil's claw there. That's a picture of devil's claw. When I just saw that, I thought, wow, look at that. It just kind of looks like it's crumpled. Yeah, doesn't it look like a joint? Yeah. Huh? Devil's claw. Because it's a link that I missed. Okay. Antispasmodics. All right. These can prevent or ease spasms or cramps in the muscles of the body. You know, like when you work all day and then you get these nasty muscle cramps and, you know, get cramps in your legs and different muscles of the body. Okay. Many of these herbs are also nervine, so they calm and calmatives. Okay. Reduce both physical and psychological tension. Okay. And there are general herbs that reduce muscle spasm throughout the body. And there are those that specifically work on certain organs or systems. So some of these are cramp bark. That's a picture of cramp bark. Black haw, chamomile, ginger, passion flower, peppermint, and hops. Those are some examples. Oh, you went ahead of me. My little echinacea plant is all, you know, I brought it in here in one of the earlier classes and it was so pretty. And now it's all brown, flowers all, but it's still standing. I want to see how long it'll stand because the stem is so strong. And then it's really long, right? It's like this long. And then the flower at the top where the purple petals were, it's just brown, but it's still there. The rain has, yeah, the rain hasn't helped any, but that is what echinacea looks like. So pretty. And Antiviral herbs work to completely destroy and or suppress the growth of viruses. Okay. They do so by generally supporting and strengthening the immune system. Okay, so echinacea is at the top there, astragalus, elderberry, garlic, fresh garlic, lemon balm, and licorice. So, you mean the candy licorice? No, not candy. Licorice root. Yes, licorice root. You guys want some, next time I can have one of those big, huge cans of licorice from Sam's Club. No, because if I buy it, I'll eat it all. No, especially if it's a red vines. Raise your hand if you like red vines and black licorice ropes. No, Wendy doesn't. Yolanda does. You like the tea? Hi, Donna. Yeah, no. Tara raised her hand. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you. Okay, well, anyway, that's what echinacea looks like. And so I've kind of been doing this little experiment with it. I bought one little tuber at Home Depot when they had it, and I put it in the pot. And now I started with one little plant that was about that tall, and now I have about 15, and they're like this tall. It lives through the snow because it snowed like crazy at my house. It lives through 100 and all the way up to, see, we got 105 degrees at my house. So it lives, and I'm at 2,000 feet. So it's really hardy. So I recommend that everybody grows echinacea at your house. I don't know, blooms in the spring. It blooms fast. Yeah. The first, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Aperient. This action is a mild and gentle form of a laxative that primarily stimulates the appetite. Without stimulate the bowels directly, natural bowel movements and function are promoted. That looks like a bush I have in front of my house. That's a juniper. And I was thinking about it. It's like, I don't think I'd want to go chew on that plant. I know what it tastes like already. I don't think it would be very good. So they can be bitters, hepatics. They can be general laxatives that work by gently stimulating the digestive process primarily through the liver. Okay, primarily through the liver. And so you've got juniper there, bitters, hepatics, laxatives in low doses. So, if you're constipated, or if you know somebody that is, you could take some of the little leaves, could put them in the bottom of a coffee cup, pour some hot water over it, put a lid over it, and let it steep. And that should act as a little bit of a mild and gentle laxative. Aphrodisiacs. Lots of people want aphrodisiacs. They help to stimulate sexual desire, pleasure, increase potency, and enhance performance. Lots of people just don't care. They've lost their interest in sexual relations. They don't have the energy. They don't have the interest. And so there's always aphrodisiacs to help. So they can be taken internally or applied topically and work via a variety of ways to help. I like that. Help get things moving. So damiana, cacao, cinnamon, ginseng, vanilla. Okay, those are all aphrodisiacs. And you can't get damiana by itself for some reason. It's we're not able to get it by itself, but we can get it in combination. So it's a strong aphrodisiac. And that's damiana. Isn't that pretty? The little flower. Oh, that was really pretty. The pretty plant, yeah. Aromatics, we all know what those are. Anything that smells good, right, is an aromatic. Anything that has a strong smell, like all your Italian seasonings are aromatics, right? These herbs have a strong and often pleasant odor. Oil-based aroma can stimulate and relax the body via the digestive or nervous systems, and are the basis for much of aromatherapy, right? And they have volatile oils, and I've got a few listed there: rosemary, aniseed, lemon balm, cinnamon, and peppermint. And that's rosemary when it's flowering. Yeah. Yeah, and rosemary, there's a lot of stores and restaurants. They just use rosemary out front as ground cover. Doesn't need water. It lives at my house where it snows and where it gets really hot. It doesn't need a lot of water. So it's great ground cover. It's great as an herb to cook with if you like Italian seasoning. And it's also great as an aromatic. You can make an oil out of it and put it on your head, and it'll help the hair grow. So if you got a bald, you like that, Yolanda. If you got a little bald spot, my daughter was telling me, my God, she's 22 years old, and she told me she has a bald spot right here. And I said, well, maybe that's where your head hits the pillow every night. I'm trying to get her in here. I was hoping she'd come in and get her to say hi, but nah. Anyway, so she tells me she's got this little bald spot here. I said she's going to start putting some rosemary oil on it. I said, let me take a picture of it first before you do that, right? Get a close-up picture first, and then start using the rosemary oil, and then we'll take a picture of it again in a month and see if you have new little hairs growing. She's pretty funny.
My mother needs that, and she's here from Chicago this week, so I'm going to tell her, because she wears wigs. And I tell her, just go to the beauty shop like me every week. I can't afford that. So she has those spots. So now I need to tell her that we can do that. So thanks for the advice.
Rosemary and castor oil. Yeah. Rosemary in your eggs are the best. When I don't have the herb, I use 1 drop of essential oil. Awesome. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, if the oil says don't ingest it, don't ingest it. Yeah, if it says they may have something else. So the question was, what about the companies that with the essential oils where they say don't ingest? Sometimes it could be stronger also. It could be a stronger. Sometimes they could have other things in there. And for their own safety, a really good example, Stephen Horn, he was the master herbalist for Nature Sunshine years ago. And he wrote an article, put it in a newsletter, and it said that everybody can use peppermint oil. Aha. See, and you already are looking at me like, well, I didn't know any better, and I thought it was okay. And so I had you can use that for, when you're in a meeting, you're falling asleep. You can, if you get a headache, right, you can put it on the back of your neck, in your temples. If you're falling asleep, you can, Nature Sunshine used to tell us, put a drop on your hand and lick it, right, and it'll help you wake up. And I had a client in San Francisco years ago. See, I'll never forget. Had a client years ago in San Francisco where she came to my office to have iridology, and I'm looking at her eyes with the flashlight magnifier. She was falling asleep. She was falling asleep. So I had some peppermint oil. And I said, I'll give you some peppermint oil. And she, so I put 1 drop in her hand and she licked it. Instantly, she started sweating. She got red. She said her blood pressure went up. She said her heart was pounding. Oh my God, I thought she was going to have a heart attack. So it wasn't funny. I took her in the bathroom. I put a cold washcloth on her. I put her head between her legs. I thought, oh my God, this lady's going to die in my office, and she got over it, and she came back, and we finished her eyes. And then I wrote Stephen a letter. And I told him, I said, you need to, in your next newsletter, you need to put a statement in there that it is not good for everybody. Anybody that has blood pressure issues, heart issues, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like, okay, so I had to learn the hard way that it wasn't good for everybody, you know, and that was when I was green, you know, I didn't know. I just started in my office in San Francisco, but still, you know, she was falling asleep at the desk. How was I supposed to look at her eyes when she was falling asleep, right? So that goes back to not all herbs are safe, you know, and not all herbs are good for everybody. So you have to know what's safe, which parts of the herbs to use, when to use them, when not to use them, which is what we've already, you know, we've covered in the last class. Well, there's a whole story behind that. I didn't even know that she had heart issues. Okay, she had heart issues. So she was referred by her brother, and yeah, she had heart issues. Oh yeah, I was able to help her. Oh yeah, I was able to help her get stronger. But that taught me the lesson about peppermint. Oh, big time. Big time. Yeah. Yeah. Jackie says, when an essential oil that's normally ingestible has a warning to not ingest, that's a warning that there are fillers and chemicals in the oil. Don't use it and don't buy it. There you go. That's yeah. Yep. There you go. Thank you, Jackie. All right. Astringents, and we know what astringents are. Lemon, right? You put a lemon in your mouth and your mouth goes, right? Sound effects, right? Okay, so you know, cup of tea, glass of wine, okay, tightening of the tissue in the mouth, that's an astringent action. Okay, these are remedies that contain constituents that have a binding action on mucous membrane, skin, and other exposed tissues. And the effect is due to complex chemicals called tannins, okay, which is great for wound healing and conditions of the digestive system. Therapeutic benefits include reduction of irritation on the surface of tissues due to a form of numbing, reduction in surface inflammation, barrier against infection is created, which is of great help in wounds and burns. Long-term internal use or too much in the diet can be detrimental, as there may be an eventual inhibition of proper food absorption across the gut wall. So you got to be careful. You know, it's kind of like using something all the time for a long period of time. It's not really that great, you know. And if you're going to use a single herb, you know, you're going to your body's going to get used to it, just like what happens with antibiotic. You're going to build a resistance to it. So any single herb that you take for a long period of time, you can build a resistance to it. So, you know, that happened to me with podarco, because podarco was my favorite herb in the whole world. You know, I was taking it, and then I was noticing that I was taking the same amount. It wasn't working. So I had to increase it. So you want to switch back and forth. You know, if you're taking like red raspberry for a long period of time, you want to switch to a combo. You know, back. It's we use the leaves, we use the stems, we use the roots. Yeah. No, you can eat red raspberries. Yeah. Okay. White, red oak bark, crane's bill, and shepherd's purse. Those are some of the examples. I thought that was a really good picture of the red raspberries that are hanging there. Yep. Okay, so astringents, we know, right? Tightens everything. Bitters. Bitters help with your digestive system, right? Bitters, they stimulate everything, stimulate bile, the liver, and all that. Okay. And they are great in treating the body as a whole. Okay. There's something called the bitter principle. And it works in a way that triggers sensory response in the mouth. The sensation, bitterness, is directed by the nerves to the central nervous system. From here, a message goes to the gut, giving rise to the digestive hormone gastrin. And this leads to a whole range of things, all of value to the digestive process and general bodily health, such as, and there's the list, stimulation of appetite during convalescence, general stimulation of the flow of digestive juices from the pancreas, duodenum, and liver, aids a great range of problems that have their basis in inefficient or allergy, distorted digestion, aids the liver in its work of detox and increase the flow of bile, which is always good. Regulatory effect upon the secretion by the pancreas of the hormones that regulate blood sugar, insulin, and glucagon. Help the gut wall repair damage through stimulating self-repair mechanisms. They also have a secondary action, which includes nervines, antimicrobials, anti-inflammatory, warming, and cooling. Okay, and so there's our friend the dandelion, right? And you've got wormwood, gentian, yarrow, angelica, barberry, golden seal, and chamomile. And you know, when I was growing up, it was always put the chemicals on the lawn to kill the dandelions because they're weeds, right? And then I went to this really fancy restaurant in San Francisco for dinner. It was at the top of one of the high rises with the revolving restaurant at the top. And they had dandelions in my salad. I'm like, why are they putting weeds in my salad? You know? And they were so good, right? They were so good. And we know dandelion is so great for the liver, you know, but of course, not everybody tolerates dandelion. So there again, you have to be careful with herbs. I found out the hard way, you know, because I figured, well, dandelion is good for the liver. It's going to be good for me because I know I've got a mixed eye and I know I need to detox. And I started drinking dandelion tea and my blood pressure just went through the roof. And I could feel it. And I took my blood pressure and it was really high. And I was talking to the naturopath I work with in LA and he said, drink a lot of water and lay on the floor quick. So I figured, well, guess what? I guess I can't take dandelion. No dandelion tea for me. So it works for, you know, people take it, that and milk thistle, but not everybody can take all these things. So, you know, any kind of testing that you can do, whether you use Zyto or you use a pendulum or you do muscle testing or you use the Healy or, you know, any kind of testing that you can do to figure out what herbs are good. Yeah, because we're not doctors. We can't diagnose. We can't prescribe. We can't say, well, you know, you've got problems with your stomach. You've got problems with your digestion. So you need bitter herbs. So I suggest that you take 3 dandelion capsules of dandelion 3 times a day with meals. Oh boy, you just broke the law. You know, you just broke the law here in the United States. We cannot diagnose. The rules in Canada and other countries, for those of you that will be watching the recordings, and then of course, Razamai's here, she's from Canada. The rules are different in those countries, and everybody has to learn the rules and the laws of where they live in their countries. But here in the United States, by doing that, I just broke the law, and if I get caught, I can get shut down and lose my business, and that's not a good thing. So make sure, you know, that when you're out there working, that you're not diagnosing and you're not prescribing unless you're a doctor. If you're a doctor, great. But if you're not a doctor, which most of us are not, we cannot do that. And so we need to use other forms of analysis to help us to determine what will work and what won't work. I'll do one more and then we're done. My clock is singing to us. Okay, cardiac tonics. These are remedies that have an overall beneficial action on the heart and circulatory system. And some of the herbs included in this group are powerful cardioactive agents such as foxglove, okay, while others are safer such as hawthorn and motherwort. And these chemicals have an effect of increasing the efficiency of the muscles of the heart without increasing their need for oxygen. Well, that would be great for anybody that's having problems with their heart muscle. Yes? This enables the heart to pump enough blood around the body and ensure that there is not a buildup of fluid in the lungs or extremities. That's huge, right? If you have, if you know somebody that is having, what am I thinking of? Oh my gosh, I just forgot what I was going to say. Okay, well, so you can see here we've got hawthorn. That's hawthorn tree there, and the picture is hawthorn, motherwort, and lily of the valley. Heart failure. That's what I was thinking of. It's that easy. Okay, so when you have people that are going into heart failure, you know, the muscles of the heart are not as strong. They build up fluid in the extremities, like the ankles and the legs, and you know, they need help. And so a lot of people are, you know, if they go to the doctor, then they're put on, you know, medicines to remove the water, and then they have to take other things to compensate for that. So if you catch it early enough, if somebody's having early symptoms and you catch it and the herbs work, then that's great. Okay, so next time we will start with carminative, and what I will do here is go to the last page. Let me stop the share and go to the last page. Okay. Okay, so I just want to thank you again for being here tonight. And oh, I didn't do that. I've got the next date here. Okay, so the next date will be October 25th. Hopefully you'll be available. And we'll do the second part of the Action Herbs. And then the next class I have set for November 15th. I had it set for the digestive system. It's going to kind of depend on how long it takes to do part 2. We may end up having to do a part 3 on the Action of Herbs. Since it's only an hour, I should probably be able to get it done here on October 25th. And then we'll go into the digestive system. And the digestive system, we'll be talking about what it does, how it works, what some problems are with it, what herbs work with it. And then we'll do something fun. We'll do some kind of something that's great for the digestive system. We'll make something. Okay, if you want to become a certified herbal counselor with us, you can do that through these herbal hours, and the cost is $350. It's approved by the Board of Registered Nursing with a BRN number, and you can carry the CHC initials after your name, and you can talk to me about that separately. Okay. Any questions, comments?
Is the CHC recognized in New Jersey?
Yep, it's recognized throughout the United States.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
This is great. Thank you, Miss Brenda.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am.
I couldn't do it without you guys, so I'm really happy that there was so much interest, both in person and on Zoom. You know, because if there wasn't interest, I wouldn't be holding it. So I really appreciate that you're all here. Okay. Any other comments, questions?
You just said you were a naturopath too. You're a naturopath practitioner, or you did the doctrine?
I'm a naturopath. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm in Missouri, so I didn't know how to go about it because I be seeing all this stuff online, and I'm kind of like a little skeptical that they're saying, "Oh, this is a $500 thing, but you can get it for $200," and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm like, I need to talk to someone who's actually won, and see how is it so that you're certifiable, you know.
You mean certifiable to become a naturopath?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Most of that goes through Trinity. To become a naturopath, you have to take this. You have to take the classes.
Okay.
I can talk to you about it separate if you want. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. Thank you.
If you want to stay on, I'm going to stop the recording, and then if you want to stay on. All right, everybody.
Brenda, I had a quick question if you don't mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you were saying earlier about we can't diagnose and prescribe, and if you say taking 3 capsules 3 times a day to a client, how do you reword that? When I do an iridology assessment, if I say my suggestion would be to take, I don't know, lemon balms, just say. If I just say take lemon balm, follow the directions from Nature Sunshine, is that not crossing the line?
Yeah, you're kind of still diagnosing, you're still kind of prescribing and doing that. Usually it's better to have, a reference, or say, if it were me, this is what I would do. Okay, if it were me and I had the problem that you're having, I would take lemon balm, as directed on the bottle. Of course, as directed on the bottle, it's usually 2 capsules a day and it does nothing, right? I mean, because they can't do it either. Nature Sunshine or any companies, they cannot prescribe either. So they're going to put the very minimum on the bottle. So, usually we say, if it were me, this is what I would do, or we pull out a reference. Okay, we'll pull out Stephen Horn's book and say, okay, well, this is what it says here. I use Zyto, which is a scanner. I use a Zyto scanner to scan. That is FDA approved, and that it looks for areas of the body that have stressors, and then it comes back and finds what will answer to those stressors. And so in a way it does kind of diagnose and prescribe, even though they say it doesn't. It kind of sort of does. And it tells them what herbs that they can take that answer to those stressors and how much. So that stops me from doing any of that.
Okay. Is that where you put your hand on? It's like a biofeedback thing. You put
exactly. It's
okay.
a scan. Yeah, it scans.
Okay, Beergood has that.
Yeah, that's what I use. It's a bioscanner. So I use that. The other thing is Herbalure. Okay, Herbalure, Herbalure, Herbalure.com. They have digital databases. So they have one that's called Heart, and Heart is a database that you just put on your computer that talks about all the different herbs and how they work and what to do with them. And then they also have one that's called Footprints on the Path. And Footprints on the Path is based on symptoms. So if you have somebody, of course, it doesn't give amounts. It doesn't give amounts. You're still going to have to use a pendulum, muscle test, use a scanner. You're still going to have to do something like that, to be so that you're not prescribing. You're still going to have to use some form of analysis to be able to say, okay, let's say you want to use a pendulum. The pendulum is saying to use, 1, 2, 3, whatever, or muscle testing. The muscle testing is saying 3, or Zyto or the Healy or something to help you with that. Because even with Footprints on the Path, okay, so Footprints on the Path will do by symptoms. So for instance, I had somebody yesterday tell me their son was having problems with their tonsils, and what did I have for that? So I sent them the protocol for tonsils. So it had the primary product, and then it had complementary products, and then it had mouthwash, it had all the different things. So I sent that to her, but it didn't say quantity, because even they can't do it. They can't do it either. They can't tell you, oh, you've got tonsillitis, you need to take 5 of this and 3 of that and this much vitamin C, right? Because you're prescribing. Unless you're a doctor, you can get in trouble.
Wow.
Yes, and it's getting worse. So, you'll be hearing about this, because I've been working with, I'm on the board of the naturopathic board. I'm on the board of the California Naturopathic Association, and we're seeing that. Okay, so we're seeing these laws that they're trying to pass here in California to stop anybody that's not licensed from being able to practice natural medicine. Isn't that nice? And so we are fighting that here in California. If it passes here in California, it's going to go, right? It's going to go to other states, right? So we're working at stopping it here, so it doesn't go forwards, and protects people. So, I mean, the best thing you can do is become a naturopath. but then you have to go to school to do that.
Yeah.
And that takes time. It can take up to 3 years to do that. But that's a step, but the other thing is just use your resources. Use your resources and use a tool that can help you. So if you want to use the Zyto, I can talk to you about that separate from this. And I can talk to you about it and show you how it works. I can even do a little demo on you for free if you want. I can do that for you so that you can see how it works. And then you can decide if that'll help you. But the fact that it's very accurate. Once in a while, I'll have somebody something won't agree with them that Zyto says to use. But most of the time it works really well. And it tells them, okay, it'll show up, whatever shows up, and then it'll tell them what the balancers are. And it'll tell them how much to take. 2 capsules 2 times a day. So I don't have to do it. I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful. Today there was somebody that was, a bunch of us iridologists got a phishing email where it looks like they contacted, I don't know if they contacted everybody off the IPA website. Yep. Did you get it too?
Yeah, they were, it's a survey or something. They wanted you to.
Yeah, right.
Up in the Air app or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And they were looking for somebody that would diagnose from the eyes. Guess what? We can't do that. We can't. We're not doctors. Why would we anyway? And so they're looking for people to diagnose from the eyes these diseases. No. Can't do that.
Went right in the trash as soon as I read it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just be really careful.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Of course. Anything else? Okay. I hope all of you have a great night. I hope to see you at the next meeting. If you want to catch up in the class and watch the recordings and get the PowerPoints, you can send me an email or a text and just reply to the email. Tomorrow morning, I'll send out the recording from tonight and I'll send out the handouts, and then you can just respond and say, hey, can you please send me, the handouts from prior classes and the recordings, and I'll send them to you. Okay. And you can watch them and catch up. And if you want to become certified, let me know. You can do that. And, as we go, whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.